Hey guys, it's TechyTish here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be diving in deep into my CV. Now, this is the CV that I used that landed me my Junior DevOps Engineer job role, and I had no experience prior in terms of professional experience in DevOps before getting my job role. So the first part of the CV is going to be your personal details, and for security reasons, I have decided to change some personal information. My email address is real, so if you do want to contact me for any sort of business inquiries, please reach out to me via the email shown on this CV template. But this is going to be the introductory professional element that the person that's reading they're going to quickly read this and be like, okay, is this person worth, me even spending my time the rest of the CV? You want to capture them. So you can see that I've used keywords such as passion, and I've used the words DevOps, and thrown in little technical words in there such as Azure and Python. So make sure that you snappy and to the point. Then if we come on a bit further down, you can see that here we go into my work experience. So my work experience, for my job that I'm currently doing, at that time I was full-time and as an operations and response delivery analyst. That was my job role. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the DevOps certification. Now, this in itself is my experience. This is the experience that they're going to be looking for. So even though I've got no professional DevOps experience, this is what I was doing. So I was studying at home and I was studying part-time. So I was doing it after work or sometimes the weekends. And that's how I invested my time in DevOps and the tools that I learned. You can see that I've put what I was currently studying. I've not gone into too much detail because you don't want to go into too much detail really, because this is where you're going to be able to sell that information when it comes into the recruitment process and interview. So I listed, this is how I currently laid it out. I said what I was currently studying and what I plan to study in the future, and it's a key point because it shows that you will have, you have some ideas for in the future for bettering yourself professionally. And also, I did put that I had built a contact center in AWS, and even though I was focusing on Azure, I just wanted to diversify myself, and I did build a contact center. I've destroyed the resources, so I did build this for a job interview that I had, and I didn't get the job, and that was because I didn't have any experience. And if you would like to hear more information about that and on my first job interview that I ever had for a DevOps engineer position, you can check out my podcast that launched last week Sunday, and that essentially I go into a bit more detail about that and the AWS stuff that I did learn from that interview. And that's literally it. Didn't have to go into too many buzzwords here. You just want to make sure that it's styled correctly and it has the relevant information. Be true to yourself. Don't overcomplicate it. You can see that I've put a little note on there just to say that I am open to learning cloud technologies. The Microsoft certification is just the pathway I set as a goal to start my DevOps journey. And that's important because you don't necessarily want to limit yourself to one. You don't want it to come across too much that you're limiting yourself, because in the realms of workplace, you will have, maybe they do have part of an instance that's in AWS. You don't know, or maybe Azure, even if you're not studying those in either of those cloud platforms. Don't try and cut yourself off. Just speak about it and use words like DevOps and cloud. The next part is the main job that you're doing. So in this case, I was operations and response delivery analyst, and it's got a bit of a funny name, but essentially it just means that I was a second line support, IT support analyst. That's all it essentially means. And here I just bullet point a list of things that I was working on. And so I did provide second and third line technical support. You can see that a lot of this will be tailored around telephony and networking, because at the time I did actually sort of focus my career path around networking. I did want to be a network engineer at one point. I'll speak about that more in an upcoming in a future podcast about sort of my transition and stuff like that. But essentially, that's what I did. In my previous job role, I was lead on the projects, and I did focus a lot on telephony, and there was just a wide range of things, and you could see that really nothing relates to DevOps. There was a project that I was working on, which was migrating some infrastructure in Azure DevOps, but I never ever got to actually start that because it turned out that I couldn't do that project. So at that point, I hadn't updated my CV, so I just left it in there. And I spoke about that in the interview, and it wasn't an issue. So in here, you want to give as much information as possible, but you don't want to limit yourself in the way that you don't want it to be too detailed, and you don't want it to be not very detailed. You just want it so that you've got enough information about what you're currently doing. And again, it does not matter that you don't have DevOps related content, because we've done it already. We've already put it right at the top. Everything below that first page, well, we're still on the first page. Everything below that is just gonna be things that the manager can tick off. Oh, has she worked in a team? Oh, has she worked on projects? Oh, has she done this, done that? Those are the sort of things that they're going to be looking at. And you got to remember, you're going for a junior position. You're not going to be expected to know a lot of things. The next part is just another job, another couple of jobs that I'd done or participated in. And so before was working at university. So the job that I just showed before, that was at university. This I was a managed custom service desk analyst, and all that again means is I was doing remote desktop support, IT support, but I was doing it for a managed service provider. So that essentially means that there's a company that provides services, but they're tailored towards different organizations. So one organization could say, right, I would love for you to manage all of our IT. Some would say, oh, we only want to maybe manage some of the infrastructure. Well, some will have like the whole full package, which includes customer support, that kind of thing. So that's what we sort of mean by a managed service provider. And these are just a little summary of the things that I was doing. So I was taking in calls, I was logging tickets, I was troubleshooting network related stuff, just the usual day-to-day sort of IT related sort of job duties. Really, it takes us back to, you can see that I've gone back all the way back to January 2017, and the next job, I did have a couple of jobs in between this and the managed service customer. I just thought I'd put the ones that I really wanted on the CV. I have had a continuous employment every year, so again, no one's asked me, oh, Tish, what did you do between June 2017 and May 2019? No one's asked me that, so that's fine. And so part of my degree, I was a MySQL backend database developer. I wasn't actually a developer for the university. I just did this as a team project. It was a part of one of my modules, part of my degree, and I thought I'd stick it in there because I did do a bit of backend work and a bit of programming as well. And then that leads us to the technical expertise. Now, here, this is just a quick summary of all the things that I've learned, all the technical stuff that I've learned over the years. Python, SQL, Azure DevOps, a bit of Kubernetes when I was doing the bootcamp, a bit of Git as well, and then just some other generic IT job technical job stuff. Have your education. So this, again, if you, for example, don't have a degree, here you could perhaps put, if you've done a boot camp or if you've done any sort of certification, this would be a good area to put it. You can specify at the beginning, oh, I was doing this DevOps camp or whatever, or I was doing these Udemy courses. And in the education part, you could actually just put a certificate link to that certificate you gained from the courses, and that would help as well. So remember, don't have to have, it's not so much formal education, anything that's certificate or anything where you've certified essentially. And so I've got a degree, and I put a few of the degree topics, and then I've just got my further educational. I did a BTEC level 3, which is the equivalent of A levels, and then before that I did GCSEs, as you would do when you were in a secondary school. And then it's our interest. So these are just my basic interests that I have. So I played football when I was younger. I now play ice hockey at recreational level, and I enjoy socializing with my friends, and I often play video games at school. Again, there's nothing here that's out of the ordinary. Lastly, leads us to our references. Now, you could choose to actually provide reference details, but I would always say leave it as available upon request, because then you can give your potential new employer that information once they offer, and it just saves any sort of, trouble ahead in case you don't get the job role. That leads us to the end of the video. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe. And if you check out in the description below, you can download the template version of this CV. Thank you for watching, and bye.